Hello, this is Mike with NetPicks. This is another PTU Options weekly recap. So over the past couple of weeks, we have held a number of options webinars, just walking through how we trade options here at NetPicks. One of our topics last week was taking a look at how we can utilize ETFs, or exchange traded funds, to help easily diversify our portfolios and really see some pretty powerful returns with the use of options. So I thought I would do a quick recap video walking through some of the returns that I have seen here over the past couple of weeks. We'll also take a look at a couple of the trades that are currently in progress. We have a number of trades that are working up towards some target levels that we'll keep track of here early in the week next week. So we'll just start working through these charts one by one. And let's start out with symbol FAS. This is one of the financial ETFs that I track. It's very important for me to have exposure to the financial sector at all times because it tends to be a sector that leads the market both to the upside and to the downside. So FAS is one of the names that I personally use. And we're going to start out by taking a look at this long setup. This is the most recent trade that we have closed out. This setup printed back on November 8th. Okay, you can see it triggered in on the 11th. So it was a pretty nice move to the upside, but we did have to battle through this little pullback initially. So the active swing trader does a great job of identifying the entry points. It gives me the targets and it gives me the stops down here, which are the red dots. So the nice part about this, if you were to enter this trade on the long side without the use of the calculator, okay, most likely when the market starts to pull back, you're probably starting to worry in here. In fact, a lot of people without the use of a system or a calculator are probably getting out on this move to the downside, saying, okay, I tried the trade on the long side, it did not work, now it's pulling back, so I want to get out and limit my loss. But because I have the calculator here that tells me exactly where my stop is at, do I want to take a loss here? No, we never want to take a loser, but they'll happen from time to time. But in this case, I don't need to panic and get out. Okay, I trust my system, I trust the stop, and fortunately for us, the price action turned back to the upside and we were able to hit target. So the way I played this, I went ahead and I bought the December 76 call, $455 per contract. That gave me control of 100 shares. So pretty manageable trade for many people. Yeah, that's that great leverage that we like to see with the use of options. So sold out of this trade once we hit full target up here. Sold it out, booked $235 of profit. That's a 52% return. So a really nice move to the upside, really nice return with the options. This is a great trade for people of all account sizes. If you've got a smaller account size, not a problem. You're risking less than $500 here on this position per trade, per contract. If you've got a bigger account size, nothing says you can't come in and trade 10 contracts here, 20 contracts. Okay, so that's the really nice part about trading options. They're so liquid, most of these products that we trade, it's very easy to scale your business. Okay, once you start to grow your account size, there's no need to switch the names that you're looking at. All we need to do is increase our size and start trading additional contracts. So really nice trade to the upside. We did also trigger into a new long setup. This was this past week. Really nice trade to the upside, and the reason I say that, because we've already hit first target, and notice what happened to the stop. The stop went up to break even. So we got in here at 82.56. Our first target was up at 84.27, which was hit. We have our full target up at 86.52, so we've got some work to do on the upside. But the nice part about this is the stop is now at break even, so the risk is off the table. So we've got a nice trade going on FAS. It's been a nice little stretch here on this product. Moving over to GLD, which is the gold ETF, it's been another pretty active name. Active swing trader did a great job of identifying this trade on the downside. So I knew exactly where I was getting in. Once I entered into this trade, it never took any heat. We moved right down to those two target levels, which you can see by looking at the green dots here. So to play this trade on the downside, I went ahead and I bought the November 131 put, $325 per contract. Okay, once I hit my full second target, yes, it moved past the second target. That does not bother me. As soon as I hit that second target level, I'm out. Okay, there's no trying to pick market tops and market bottoms. I'm just looking to get in and capture my little slice of the overall profit. So in this case, I sold out of my options. Booked a $335 profit on the trade. That's 103% return. So really phenomenal trade there on the downside. And moving forward here, you can take a look at this most recent short setup that is still working. We haven't closed this trade out yet, but we did trigger into this short setup. Okay, again, everything was outlined for me, my entry point, my targets, my stop. We did hit the first target, the first series of green dots. My stop went from the full level up here at over 126, moved it down to break even. Now, once I started to get halfway in between the first and second target, which you can see we did here on Friday, we start to move the stop down even further, and now the stop has locked in profit. Okay, so the calculator does a lot of the trade management for us, telling us exactly where our stops should be at. So we're looking for a full target down at 118.44. Okay, we have a little bit of work to do. We need one more move to the downside to hit that full target. If price action decides to reverse here on Monday or Tuesday next week, we do have a small profit locked in. So really another really nice position to be in. Really takes a lot of that emotional aspect out of the equation, because we know worst case we've got a small profit booked. Okay, SPY, which is the ETF tracking the S&P 500. We did book a full winning trade on this last long setup that completed. Okay, again, everything very straightforward here. Active swing trader, the calculator, does a great job telling us exactly where to get in and where to get out. So just it makes trading so much easier to have a trade calculator available to us. So we got into this long setup. Okay, I bought the December 175 call. That was $396 per contract. Again, these trades are all just a matter of a couple $100s. I mean, we're getting into a lot of these trades for less than $500. Very manageable risk for the smaller account size. Once I hit full target, closed out of the position, booked a $200 profit or a 52% return. Okay, another great trade. Am I gonna be disappointed with a 52% return? No, that's something that I'm looking for on a consistent basis, which is exactly what we see with active swing trade. That's just a phenomenal return. We did get into this new long setup here later in the week. We did get long again at 179.72, and I currently have targets up at 181.24 or 182.42 for my second target. So I have my target levels in place for next week. My stop is currently down at 177.33. And if we can hit that first target level at 181.24 early in the week next week, I will look to move my stop up to break even. Okay, so SPY, another great product to trade because it is so liquid. You know, you can go in and if you've got a larger account size, I mean, you're going to have no issues getting filled on a 20 lot or a 30 lot if you're to that point. Very, very liquid product. EEM is the emerging market ETF. Okay, another great one. You can see the diagonal lines here on the chart. These are identifying all the trades that we have taken. So I can move that data window over a little bit. And you can see that the system has done a great job of identifying a whole series of winning trades. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the last 6 trades have been winners. Okay, so the active swing trader doing a great job here on the emerging market ETF. So this is just a great way to get exposure to different markets you may have never considered before. Okay, a lot of times we talk about the US, the individual equities, names like Apple and Google and Amazon. Well, some of these ETFs that give you exposure to global markets, it's just a great way to just spread out a little bit, diversify your overall portfolio. So at the moment, we did close out of this full winning long trade. The system is currently in a short. Okay, let me get my data window back up here. And the data window is telling me, okay, the entry point was at 41.68. We have targets down at 41.20 and 40.43, and the stops up at 42.56. So we'll just track this trade going into next week. It did pull back on us a little here on Friday, but again, with our stop in place here at 42.56, there's no panicking here. Okay, we know exactly where we're at all times in the trade, and when we've won 5 out of the last 6 trades, it makes it very easy to trust the system. XLE is one of the energy ETFs that I do like to track, and we are currently in this long setup. And let me mark that here so it's easy to identify. We are in this long setup. We got long at 87.34. We have a first target at 88.29, a second target at 89.28, and our stops down at 85.86. We came very close to hitting that first target here as we wrapped up the week on Friday. If we do hit that first target, we will move the stop to break even. So we'll see if we can hit that first thing on Monday morning, take the risk off the trade, and see if we can get a runner up to that full second target. So XLE moving well also. Over on the Dow, this is symbol DIA. This is the ETF that tracks the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We did close out of a full winning trade here on the long side. So really nice winner. We do have a new long setting up. It has not triggered in yet, so this is one I'll be tracking early next week. Has an entry point at 160.64. Okay, so that will be my entry point next week if we do continue to see this move to the upside. The nice part about the Dow, it's been on an absolute tear for most of 2013. It's probably been one of my better performers so far this year. These are just the results going back to the middle of June. We've taken 13 trades going back to the middle of June. We've won 11 out of those trades. That's an 85% win rate. A lot of profit up here. Very nice profit factor. So the performance, the active swing trader just continues to do phenomenal on some of these very active ETFs. SLV, another one of those commodity ETFs that I like to track, tracking the price of silver. So SLV closed out of this winning short trade. Had a nice full winner here. Notice here that we do get out at the second target. Even though it's moved well past that second target, we do not do any type of trailing here. We're just looking at booking our profit and moving forward, waiting for the next setup to print. So at this point, there's nothing for me to do. I'm sitting on my hands here. Okay, we're just waiting for the calculator to print the next setup on the chart. So very nice trade there on SLV. It's been two nice full winners in a row there on that on this ETF. FXI, it's an ETF that tracks the Chinese large caps. So again, another product that just gives us some really nice diversification with some global markets. We're taking a look at this long setup back here. Okay, we had an entry point at 36.90. Our full target was up at 38.12, which we did hit. I bought the December 36 call for $140 a contract. I sold it out, booked $92 of profit. Okay, doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot of profit, but remember, we only paid $140 to begin with, so that was a 66% return. Okay, that's a phenomenal return there in just a few days. Okay, the system had another winning long trade up here, and now the system is currently in a short setup. Okay, we got short. The system gave us an entry point at 39.55. Okay, now this trade is pulling back. Okay, we're still short. We have our targets in place. We have our stop in place. We do have the potential to flip into a new long trade here. So we'll be tracking this one next week. So I will be looking to get long here around the 40.18 level. So I'm going to push that entry point out a little bit, try to protect the short trade, give it every chance to succeed. But if we do get up to 40.18, I will reverse to the long side. So FXI has had a nice run to the upside. We've been able to catch it with active swing trader, and now we're looking to play the market rolling over to the downside. So we'll track this one into next week also. And finally, to wrap things up here, TLT. This is an ETF that gives me some exposure to the bond market. Okay, again, another great way to diversify. So taking a look at this short trade from back in early November, we did play this move to the downside. Did hit full target. I went ahead and I bought the December 107 put for $252 a contract. I sold it out, booked $153 of profit, and that was a 61% return. Okay, so a great move to the downside. The active swing trader, again, it really doesn't matter which way the market's going. If the market's moving higher, we can profit. If the market's moving lower, that's great. We can utilize the puts to benefit from a move to the downside. And then we did just close out of this trade here to end the week. We did get into another short trade here. We got short at 103.91. We did hit first target, which was great to see because it allowed us to move the stop down to break even. And we were taken out here on Friday. We were taken out with a break even trade. So unfortunately, we were not able to hit the full target, but break even trade. We can't complain with that because we have had 2 full winning trades before that. So nice little stretch there on TLT. So those are a number of ETFs that I track and I trade on a very regular basis. These have all been part of my watch list for an extended period of time. I've traded all of these names for the last few years. So great names to look at going forward. I know many of you have probably looked at some of these in the past, but there may be a few new ones in there. So just some names to consider. So like we were talking about, returns that I'm looking for with active swing trader, typically in the 50 to 100% range. That's the type of return I typically see on my ETFs with the options. So really nice way to get involved here. Notice that on a lot of these trades, we're in for $500 or less. So a great way to get your feet wet in the markets and some ETFs for very little risk. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up here. We do have a number of trades working as we head into next week, so we'll continue to track those, and I will be back with you guys here next week.